get my bowls out. Hold on.
Thanks so much for inviting me.
Thanks for joining us.
We miss you.
Where are you gals?
Well, I'm in Canada.
Okay. I'm in Nashville.
And in the middle of my little forest. I don't think can you see my little forest?
Wow. Yes. Look at that.
20 acres of forest. Yes.
Carrie, a year ago we were in Washington.
Is that a year ago?
A year ago.
A year ago.
Yeah.
And where are you?
I'm in Vienna right now because I was
Vienna.
supposed to conduct here. Yeah. A whole month of April, I was supposed to do 4 Figaros and 3 butterflies. So, and they got, periodically canceled. So I'm still here.
I'm so sorry. Now, if you wanted to get home, to your mom or family, are you allowed in the country or how does that work?
I mean, I think I'm allowed because I'm an Italian citizen. But first of all, there aren't that many ways to get there.
Okay.
And the other thing is that they've strongly recommended not to go and see your parents, and because in the last 3 months I was traveling so much, as all of you probably, and so it's safer to just stay isolated for now. So I'm just doing what everyone is telling us to do. It's nice to see you both.
It's nice to see you too.
What's your next thing that you're gonna do?
Well, you mean work-wise or? Yes. Yeah. So my next thing, which most likely will get canceled, but officially hasn't been yet, is my Paris debut at the Opera Bastille. Rigoletto. Yes. I'm supposed to go there on the 11th of May, but the government has already said no big events till July, so we're just waiting to see what they're gonna do with that.
I think
I was really looking forward to that one. That was a big one.
I think my heart just broke for you a little bit. That's a big deal. And
I've been waiting 3 years for that moment, but hey.
Yeah, you've worked so hard. Well, talk to us a little bit about that, Speranza, because some people might not know. Like when I met you, you were still in a different position, in a different job.
Yeah.
How did you segue from what you were doing, and talk a little bit about that, to becoming a conductor and a world-class conductor?
Yay. Well, I as most of you probably know, but for people who don't know me, I'm a pianist, and I trained as a solo pianist, and then I did a lot of chamber music when I was at Juilliard in my Juilliard years, and then I went into opera coaching, recitals first, and then opera.
Where I
exactly, and I had a long career as a coach, opera coach, and I worked as a freelancer in many theaters as a repetiteur. And then a few years also between New York and Vienna at the Staatsoper. And at some point, especially when I was coaching, I always felt this, this like energy was like coming up. And I thought, so many people were telling me, you should do it, you should go into conducting. And as many of you know, sometimes from the piano you're conducting, or I found myself at the Salzburg Festival when I was working, especially with Maestro Muti. He would come a little bit later in the rehearsal process, and then we would be 2 or 3 pianists, and no one wanted to go there and wave their arms. Like my colleagues were like, I'm not doing that. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. No. And as an opera coach, you're trained anyways to be in that position where you have to lead. Mm-hmm. And it just felt so right. It felt like that was what I was supposed to be doing at some point.
Wow. And you just Went right into
At some point I decided I'm going to try this. I got my first 2-3 opportunities, and I have to thank certain people for that. My first big opportunity came from the Yale University. You all must know Doris Cross.
Yes.
Who I think is just retiring next year.
Yeah, very cool.
I heard through different people that she was planning to put up a Così fan tutte with her students. I got in touch with her, and I will never forget that moment where she said, "Okay, well, let me think about it a second. So your experience, yes, you're working with Riccardo Muti and blah blah blah." And I said, "Yeah, I know Così really well." And then she paused for about 10 seconds, and I could hear Richard Cross in the back mumbling, something. And she said, "Okay, let's do it." I was like, "Really?" And she said, "Sure." And that's how I got my first go at it. And then from there, it was another 2 years until I really made the shift, because, it wasn't like immediate.
Right.
No.
And then Francesca Zambello, gave me my first real American debut, which was at Glimmerglass. I mean, after Yale, professional. And then from there, some things in Europe came, and that's how it all kind of unfolded.
Yay!
Yeah.
Well, we both think you're amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously, I remember.
You both are.
Remember in Vienna, we coached ballo, and I was like, wow, not only does she, like, with the words and the music, but vocally too, you have such a great sense of the voice. And
thank you.
And how it functions. And
I think it's partly a passion, and also growing up in Italy, my father, is big opera fan, lover, and I grew up in a very sort of musical environment, and opera was always somehow there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started at Juilliard working in the vocal arts, I was fascinated by this whole voice thing. And I have to say, I did play many voice lessons for all the teachers in New York.
It shows.
And, and I could hear, okay, that makes sense. Or like, what the hell is she talking about?
I love that you talk about Francesca giving you that chance. It's one of the things I really love about her, because, I mean, among many things, but because I remember Michael Heaston, works with
I met him at Glimmerglass that year.
Of course. And I've known Michael for a really long time, because Michael played lessons for me when I was changing to soprano. And Michael kept telling Francesca, "You've got to hear this girl." And so Michael made this audition happen. And literally, I know all of us have these moments in our careers where it's like the top 5 worst things ever that have come out of your mouth or whatever. So it was
5, just 5?
Yeah. Well, I remember I got through the first aria, and I knew I couldn't look at Michael, but I did. And he was just like how bad, that was so bad. And so, but Francesca, luckily, somehow, someone, probably Michael, talked her into hearing me again. And I ended up going to her apartment in New York. And then that's how I ended up. And then they heard a Tosca of mine somewhere else, and that's how I ended up doing that with you, Speranza. So
yes,
I love her for the second chances, because sometimes we all need those, or we all need somebody to give us the opportunity and give us a shot, and then we all need somebody.
Well, I remember I sent Cesca the video of my Così overture from Yale. She said, "I'm going to book you now because I know then you won't have time." And I was like, "No." I said, "I'm completely free." She said,
"Just wait.
Believe me, I'm booking you now because I know that when time comes, you will not have time for me." And I was like, "I'll always have time for you."
Always.
So I mean, yes, you're Italian.
Yes.
That's your specialty in Rome. And that's your specialty in music, or is your heart?
No, actually, I mean, it is in a way, because of course I grew up in Italy and I coached a lot of Italian music, but I'm doing a lot of symphonic repertoire now.
Oh.
In fact, I just debuted my first Richard Strauss. I was so happy. I was like in heaven. That was my last concert actually in February in Bordeaux. Okay. I did Don Juan of Strauss, and I do French music, and I've conducted Carmen. I'm gonna do Tales of Hoffmann coming soon.
Okay.
Of course, I do a lot of opera, but I'm really focusing a lot on getting my symphonic repertoire out there, and I'm doing quite a bit
Good for you.
of that too.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Spectacular to see how quickly you've risen to the top. And
Hmm.
I'm sorry that, you know, I mean, Paris, fingers crossed.
Yeah, you know, I after the first couple weeks where I was feeling sad about it, and
But,
we're all in shock, we're all, you know,
Yeah.
dealing with so much. Everyone, you, both of you, everyone in opera world right now everyone has their own thing that they were looking forward to, and
Sure.
we just have to be hopeful that we'll start soon,
Yeah.
and those things will happen again at another moment,
Sure.
just the way they were supposed to happen.
Yeah.
when do you see, just your opinion, I know you don't have a magic ball, but how do you see opera starting again, classical music starting again, the arts, all of that?
Well, for sure, we don't know what's going to happen with the virus, so it's hard to tell. I think everyone has depicted the scenario where we are going to be basically the last thing to open.
Yeah.
One of the, you know. And so if we're lucky that this terrible sickness sort of gets better by the end of the summer, maybe into the fall at some point, or
Yeah.
with the beginning of the new year. I don't know. I mean, I cope with different scenarios in my head. I've already tried to train my head to think that for at least 6 months
Sure.
I'm out,
Sure.
because I think it's the healthy way. I mean, it's scary, but it's also kind of like, if you put your mind at peace with that thought, then you live your daily life a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Love that.
Do you think that opera's our medium is forever
It's gonna change a little bit, I think. It's gonna be hard at first. I think people will be very scared to come to the theater, so we will have to encourage them to come.
Yeah.
And this is all given for granted that the security is going to be all sorted out, that it's going to be safe to go.
Yeah.
But people will still be a little bit tentative. Maybe some people won't have the financial means to come to the theater anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be hard,
Different.
different. And I think we, the artists, will have to, who are already sacrificing a lot, might be asked to sacrifice even more.
Sure.
But I think that whatever it takes to get us back in there as soon as possible, I'd be willing to go for it.
Carrie, Carrie and I, we've been talking a lot about what is our position now? What role do you think we need to play as classical musicians, as the arts? What do you feel right now during this pandemic is our job?
Well, I've been battling with a lot of different feelings about it.
Yeah.
Because at first I was all energetic about let me do videos and things and put things out there. Then I had a phase where I was a little angry and I was thinking, what am I doing this for? And then I think that we need to keep bringing a message of hope. And it's not because my name is Speranza that I'm saying this, to people, and that things will get better, and that music and culture will always be there for people as a nourishing thing for the soul. I think we also need to, our role today should be also to start making people aware in governments or in institutions or whoever is supporting the arts. In America, it's more private. In Europe, it's more government oriented. That we are people like everyone else, that we don't do this just to entertain people, that we're not having fun while we're doing it. This is our livelihood. This is how we pay our bills. This is how we live. And so that they shouldn't abandon us.
I know.
And I'm all to do things for free if we are raising money for a great cause. Like I tried at the very beginning to put on a sort of virtual concert where I was playing and singers would come in and sing or whatever. But when Italy was hit really hard at the beginning, for hospitals in it, because I think that that's the main focus. That has to be also for us the main. That's why we're sacrificing what we're sacrificing. Because, but at some point, people will have to start thinking about us too, you know, and
Yeah.
how are we going to survive? Not me specifically, Speranza Scappucci.
No, but us
like,
as a whole,
you know,
yeah.
as a whole. And then I think of all the artists who are just starting their careers,
Yes.
who do small roles, like in France or Italy, you know, or especially I'm thinking about Italy because I know a lot of people there who live only on local theaters and do the spoletas or the whatever.
Right.
And
maybe this is a chance for them with the borders closed. You know, I was having a good discussion the other day with an intendant of an opera house, and she was saying that, you know, while the borders are closed, while the countries are closed, and Carrie and I, we've talked about this a lot, you know, it's a chance for these younger singers now to sing in their local opera houses, because I don't think people will want to get on a plane yet, will want to leave
on
their,
one hand, once
their
it starts,
bubble.
once it starts again, it could be a good chance for those people. But if we stay without working for too long, there's a risk that those people will also disappear, and that's what shouldn't happen.
No.
And I wish there were a way that we could like do something where there's like a foundation or something where we can also raise money for those people.
They said, do you feel like time is standing still or that it's running by?
Okay. I feel like it's running by. Okay. And I'll tell you why, because I come from a family. I mean, I grew up in a family where my parents, you met my mom, right?
She's great.
Carrie. And you too, right?
I did too.
And my dad more in a quiet way, but my mom more actively, but both as a couple pushed all of us to strive to you know, like to learn, study, and I came, especially I would say from both of them, but mostly my mom. It was very much that you can't waste time. Like you need to always be studying or doing something. So up till now, I've had a very busy life, and I always feel that if I relax too much, I'm wasting time. So, and now that I have all this time, all of a sudden, it's like, it's nice in a way, and on the other, of course, it's you're forced to have this time, and so someone is forcing you to have the time, so you can't really enjoy it like it's a vacation, because that would be crazy. But I do feel sometimes like it's a bit of a waste of time. But then I rethink and I think, no, take the time to do maybe things that you've never done before, and I will tell you all about it too. And also try to center yourself and like try to, you know, sometimes you don't have time to think or meditate, or if you're into praying, you know, like
we're always so busy just in this business, running here, there, I agree.
So, but in the back of my head, sometimes there was that thing, like yesterday, I basically didn't study, I didn't read, I didn't do much of anything constructive. And I felt like, oh my God, I'm wasting time. Like, this is horrible. You know, it's because I grew up with this idea that you have to always do something.
No.
And
I understand that well. It's a battle. I was raised the same way, you know, move, go. And so I've struggled with that too. And I have to actually make myself say, no, you're going to take 2 hours. I don't care what it is. You're going to put something stupid on television or read a book that you haven't had time to read before. You have 2 hours. And that's, but you know, I can actually calm my brain, because I have a really good friend that feels extremely guilty about doing nothing.
Yeah,
but there's
guilt is another thing you feel. You think, shit, I didn't do anything.
Yes, but I think that's also partly, there's a depression side of this that goes into not knowing. We have no control right now over our own lives. And she's really struggling with the fact that she doesn't feel like doing anything. There's no motivating factor for her to move forward. And she is the biggest go-getter I know. So for her to say this was really...
I'm a big go-getter, and last week I had a couple of days where I felt like that. And but then I started, sorry, Sandra. And then I just started saying, okay, you're going to plan your day. You're going to have 2-3 things important that you're doing every day. And this way I feel much more, you know.
But I think sometimes we need to take that step back, like you, Carrie, with those 2 hours, for you, Speranza, to take a day, because I think we have to actually process things in our head right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And it's a way for it all to kind of find a place. And I find sometimes when I take a day off that I find clarity. And I find, oh, okay, yeah, I see where that needed to go, and that compartment up in my brain that's always going chiki chiki chiki.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
For example, I have been doing one thing that I never did in my life.
Okay.
Ever.
Yes.
I mean, when I say ever, I mean that I would do it just because you need it sometimes
Okay.
to live and survive, which is cook.
Oh,
Me too. Me too. My husband always said that Sandra will kill somebody someday with her cooking.
I swear, I mean, I love eating. Anyone who knows me knows I love eating, but no time. You know, most of the times you're on the road, you're alone.
right.
So the occasional pasta, I know how to make it. I know how to make a steak. That's not cooking.
No.
So one day into the first week of quarantine, I bumped into a Facebook page of this amazing Italian lady who every day posts 2 or 3 things, very easy recipes. And I was just watching the videos of like, well, that doesn't seem so hard. You just have to
I could do that.
you know, so I went and bought some tools.
Okay.
You didn't even have the tools.
No. I mean, I had pots and pans, but I didn't have like something to measure, you know, flour.
Oh, God. Okay.
Or like, you know, how do you call the mattarello? You know,
The
grater.
The grater.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I didn't have other things that I won't, you know.
I'm loving this.
You
This is
seriously
I also didn't have something that I should have never used, which is something that you use to cut vegetables.
Oh.
Because one day I got distracted and, I mean, sorry, it's the third finger. I don't mean to be rude, but
No, please give us the bird. I love it.
look.
Whoa.
Speranza.
Yeah,
You need that.
for a piano. I mean, I was like, this cannot be happening to me now that I need to play the piano. So 3 weeks. Yesterday, I finally played for the first time.
Did it hurt?
I mean, I was like, first I was in shock, and then it did hurt. It hurt.
Do you have feeling in it now?
Yeah, now I do. But it's still, I still feel it's tender. But I did not throw that tool away. And I said, because I'm stubborn, and I was like, I'm going to learn how to use this correctly. And I've been cooking since, even with my screwed up finger. So,
girl. Yeah.
every day I have something that I try.
I love
most
that.
of the times they come out well. And the other thing I've been doing regularly, and that I need to learn Russian. So I found a really great teacher in St. Petersburg through a friend of a friend. And every 2 or 3 days we meet, and she gave me a book online, and I'm already at my 10th or 11th lesson.
Okay, so say something you've learned.
Okay, I've learned our lesson is Saturday, or no, is like tomorrow at 1.
Okay.
Don't laugh. Let me see if I remember it.
Carrie, stop. Don't laugh.
You can't tell me not to laugh. I'm gonna laugh.
So, наш урок завтра в 1.
Vadir?
Vadin.
Okay.
Vadin, which means at 1.
At 1. Okay.
Bravo. Yeah. So.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
I have a funny story, and maybe we can't put this on here. I don't know.
Okay.
All those Russians out
you
there
say it, and then you decide if you want to cut it.
Dear Dmitry of Vorostovsky, God bless his soul. I was going to make my debut in Russia, and with a name like Radvanovsky, everybody assumes that I speak Russian, but.
All right, of course.
And so I had this interview set up with this Russian male interviewer. And so I said to Dima, because I always heard people saying this like hello, right?
Mm-hmm.
Привет. cocktail. So I was like, what is that? What are you saying? And he said, mignette. And I was like,
Okay. I don't even know what that means. Is that bad?
I'm scared.
So go and I shake the guy's hand and I say, mignette. And the poor guy turns red. It means blowjob. Privyet, mignette. Very close. And I thought I was like, wow, so great. And this guy just like,
oh my God.
I looked at Dima and I'm like, you're going
You're
down.
bad. It's been really nice because it's a very, I mean, as you guys know, you sing in these languages. And in fact, as I'm learning it, I'm thinking I'm in such awe of singers, how you guys learn this stuff.
We did Rusalka together.
Oh,
not too
my
long.
Lord.
Carrie calling me going,
Czech. Oh my God.
what?
Okay, my whole career has been in Italian, which is all these beautiful lines and vowels. Not that the Czech language isn't the same way, but I couldn't figure out how to get all of these consonants in there and still sing the way that I normally sing, and I just felt all this mess. And then I get in there and tension, and the tenor is Czech, and I just looked at him and I said, I'm so sorry that I am destroying your language. I said, but I promise you, I'm really just gonna sing this whole roll on vowels. Like, I can't do it anymore. I'm done.
And it was beautifully sung. But Carrie's like, one day she's going up to the high C and she's like, oh, how?
I did. I sang it just like that. I didn't care.
And I'm Czech, so I'm looking at her going, well, it sounded like Swahili, but you know. Hey,
I have a year and a half, and my cast is completely all Russian speakers.
You have given away.
Which I mostly, you know, we like helped cast and everything, and I thought I cannot be the only one. But the real reason, and you guys have worked with me. I am so text oriented, and you know, for me, music and text are one thing that I cannot imagine doing an opera without really knowing how the language goes. You know, it's just.
But don't you think also that you might want to know the language? So, because we singers are always talking about you guys, and so you might want to know what they're saying.
Carrie,
that's the other
thing. Secrets.
No, that's the other thing. I was like, they're gonna like say horrible things about me in front of me.
No, they're gonna love you. They'll love you.
Mostly they're friends or people I know, so
awesome.
I think it's gonna be okay. And most of them speak Italian or English. But yeah, so those are my two things that I got to do that I never do.
Awesome.
And what's the first thing you're gonna do when you're out of quarantine?
Well, if I can travel, I'd love to go see my parents, my family.
Yeah.
On a more daily basis.
Yeah, like immediate.
Okay, guys, I don't know what you do, but I wax.
I'm old now. I just don't even have hair, so it's like.
That's just a joke. What I would really love, I really miss, because I'm a very social person, is meeting up with a friend for a drink or going to a restaurant. And I mean, I love learning how to cook, but I really miss just being with people in front of a meal. Yeah. So
I get it.
Carrie, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
Oh, well, I mean, I need to hug my people. Like, I need this.
And that's also.
I'm so, you know, I'm lucky that I'm married to who I'm married to, and that we like each other and love each other and get along really well. Like, hallelujah for that. But because we're stuck in this little 700 square foot apartment together, but I need that. Like, I want to figure out how I get to my mom, how I get to my brother, how my cousin with her kids that, you know, we're really close with, that live 45 minutes from here. I need to hug them so badly. Like, I just need that. So
I there's a big family event that we had been planning for months with we're 3 sisters and a brother, and my parents are going to be 50 years marriage this year in July, and we have organized this before this whole mess started. 3-day vacation in Italy. Our dream is that on the 20th of July we will be able to all be in Italy for that.
Okay. I bet it's gonna happen.
Even if that's the first, even if it goes that long and that's the first thing we do, I'd be really, really happy.
Awesome.
because my parents are really great, strong people, fun, but they've been literally locked in their apartment in Rome for nearly 8 weeks. That would
Okay.
be the first thing I would do, waxing aside. I mean, don't get the wrong idea. I wax on my own.
Yeah.
I would love
It's not
someone
the
else.
same.
I would love someone else to do it.
Ask her.
Oh, is
Guys,
there
we
anything that you want to say to everyone, Speranza? I mean, is there anything a message you want to give out to whoever, to colleagues, friends, family?
Oh, I mean, the main thing I want to say is that for our community, for the music community, although we all have moments of desperation that we think, I can't go much longer without performing. We have financial, maybe some of us, think about financial problems. The light at the end of the tunnel will come.
Yes.
And we have to think that it's a really hard and horrible moment, but things will get better. We have to believe it, otherwise it's not going to happen.
Bingo.
And,
That is beautiful.
and the other thing is that we have to keep in mind, all of us, that there are people out there fighting every day on the front line,
Yep.
Doctors, nurses, sick people, families of sick people who can't see their relatives. And so when I feel down, sometimes I think about all those people, and I think, well, we just have to be patient and try to do stuff that will keep us, sane somehow, but mostly just hope and have this feeling, that that after winter comes spring. Yes.
We ask everybody, when we say the word opera, what is your immediate reaction?
Emotion.
Beautiful.
I like that.
Beautiful. I like that.
Good one.
Because emotion is everything. It's joy, tears.
Yeah.
It's emotion.
That's beautiful. Really. Thank you.
Yeah.
So now we do, Carrie,
Rapid fire questions.
rapid
Yes.
fire questions.
Oh God.
I know.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Ready?
Yeah.
Carrie's going to start.
Oh, I am? Okay.
You start.
Okay. Favorite cuss word in any language?
Yes.
Can I say it? I mean, I'm allowed to say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not favorite. It's just the one that comes.
Always comes.
Is cazzo.
Ah, yeah, I love that.
That's
That's a
okay.
good
Bye.
I mean, it's quite vulgar, but it just,
It works.
cazzo.
Yeah.
Okay. Reading a book or Netflix?
Lately more reading.
Okay.
Normally, like when I'm on the road, Netflix. But
Okay.
now that I'm at peace, I have more time reading.
Carrie?
What was it like conducting Carrie Alkema?
That's not a rapid fire question.
It was actually, and I'm not saying this because you're there. It was really great, and I tell you why. Me convincing you about things that you had never tried,
Right.
and that maybe at first I thought maybe she's never going to do it, or maybe she's not quite convinced about it, but then you did, and it was so powerful. And then there were moments in some of those performances, especially everywhere, but especially in the second act, I would say, the aria and moments with Scarpia where there's like a real connection.
Yeah.
When I feel a connection with an artist on stage that is goes beyond just we decided we're going to do it like that, where you actually make, like, I give you the music and you give it back.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because it's true. Like you developed the character. You were willing to do things that you had never done with that character.
Always.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
What's your biggest what?
Biggest pet peeve.
What does that mean? Sorry, my
Pet
English
peeve.
is not.
Quinoia. An annoyance.
Something
like-
that is annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, to you. The biggest.
Tenors.
Like for me, it's people that drive in the fast lane and go really slow.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, things that annoy me is when people are walking on the street and you're coming right in front of them and they don't move over.
Ah. So same thing like driving.
No, have you ever noticed that if you're not the one who's moving, people don't move usually?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really or people bumping into you and not saying I'm sorry or things like that.
One more, Carrie, one more.
Red wine, white wine, alcoholic beverage. What's your preference?
I love white wine.
Yeah, me too.
Italian or French or what?
Any kind.
Okay.
I like Pinot Grigio. I like Grüner Veltliner when I'm in Austria.
Okay.
I also like Aperol Spritz. That's a drink I like very much.
Nice.
That's my glass, Carrie, my smiley glass. That's Aperol Spritz glass.
Oh, those are so delicious, especially summertime in Europe on a cafe.
I have to
outside
say,
in the sun.
my birthday was a couple weeks ago.
Oh, sorry, happy birthday. That's right.
And
I
as
told you
was
happy
yours,
birthday.
I think. You're like 2 or 3 days after me.
Yeah.
And I made myself a little cake, you know, and I got a little bottle of Aperol Spritz, and I made myself like a Aperol Spritz.
Oh, happy birthday to me. Well, thank you for doing this.
Thank you
so
for
great
having
to
me.
see you. Really great.
Thank you so much, and stay healthy.
You
and
too.
stay sane, and let's keep hoping for the light that will come.
I look forward to making music with you. With both
Me
of you.
too. We all love our jobs and we love making music, but I think the first time we will go back to doing it, the first performance we will have, or the first rehearsal, it'll have so much more meaning. I think that performing arts will be even more, it will be even more powerful what we do.
I think so.
So I think we have to think that out of all of this, something good will come.
Yeah.
I agree completely. Beautifully said, and thank you. Audience is going to love to hear this interview. So stay well, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay?
See you soon in the States.
Okay.
You
Or
too.
in Canada. Bye.
Yeah, Canada.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. What do you? I don't have my glasses.
Piano spoken.
Vedi?